Hi guys, I'm back at home with Graham, and so I can't be here, but I want to make sure that you get the lesson 3-7, day 3. So you should have graded homework with the substitute and then have 3-7, day 3 notes in front of you. You're going to need your iPad, and we're going to use desmos.com. Do not use the app, but go to desmos.com and then click on the Start Graphing. So go ahead and go there. You're going to need your ruler and a pencil as well. So pause it while everybody's getting that out. Okay, so now when we're on number 1, the first one's y equals absolute value of x minus 7, and it says sketch a graph of the following. List the vertex for each. You're going to want to use desmos.com. So the first time we use desmos.com, I'm going to show you how to do absolute value in on Desmos. So when you type it in, and I'm doing it here, y equals, and you're going to see the absolute value of a on the bottom left. So go ahead and click that, and then x minus 7. I'm sure most of you could figure that out on your own. And as you're clicking it, you're going to see it's graphing it for you. So this is what the graph looks like. Okay, so once you have that, I'm going to go ahead and sketch that now. So if I sketch that, I'm going to draw a quick sketch of a coordinate grid. And then it says list the vertex of each. So this vertex is over 7 up 0. So this is what your sketch should look like. Okay, and at the bottom on your worksheet, you're going to see where it says vertex. Make sure you write that in there. Okay, it's important to notice that when you have absolute value of x minus 7, you notice that it shifted right 7. Okay, so now you're going to do the same for number 2, number 3, and number 4, and notice what happens to your v, your absolute value graph. On number 2, I typed f of x, but remember f of x is the same as y. So just type into Desmos y equals. You don't need to worry about the f of x. So do the same for number 2, number 3, number 4. Sketch your graph, write your vertex. So everybody's going to do that. Go ahead and push pause, and when everybody's caught up, then you're going to push play again. So push pause now. Okay, so everybody's caught up, and we're on number 5 now. It says compare the graphs from number 1 and 2 to graphs 3 and 4 from above. How are they similar and how are they different? So you're really going to focus in on the movement of the absolute value graph. So talk in your groups about the similarities and the differences. So that should take about 3 minutes, and I want you to write similarities and differences. And when those are done, I want you to share out as a class. So push pause here. Okay, so now we're on number 6. Without graphing, and this is really important, do not work ahead and put it into Desmos. Without graphing, predict where the vertex is for the following. So this is to see if you've learned from the front of the worksheet, if you know what's going to happen to the absolute value of x and then plus 6. What do you think is going to happen? Don't look off your neighbor. Don't try and type it in Desmos. There's not going to be a wrong answer because you're just predicting. So go ahead and write down what you think is going to happen. Using the words maybe shifting would be a good word. Go ahead and do that. And after you're done, but only after you're done, go to B. And then you're actually going to type those in, graph them, and see if your predictions were correct. If they were correct, great. And if they were wrong, write underneath your prediction what actually happened. Okay, so you're going to push pause. Everybody's going to do that. And when everyone's ready, we'll go on to number 7. Okay, so we're ready for number 7. Graph the following equations. Where is the vertex? Why does it have these coordinates? So this is super important because you have to have good explanations here. So the first one, let me erase here, says y equals the absolute value of x minus 1 and then plus 6. Okay, so at this point, we want to know what is going to happen with the -1 inside the absolute value, and then what does the +6 do on the outside of the absolute value. Okay, so if the -1 is going to shift it right, that shifts it right, you're going to say shifts V to the right 1 unit. And I would write because -1 is inside the absolute value. Okay, this is what I have so far. Now the reason it shifts the opposite way is you can think of it as setting it equal to 0. So x minus 1 is equal to 0, and if you solve for x, you add 1 to both sides and you get x equals +1. So that's why it's doing the opposite. Now the +6 on the outside is not doing the opposite. So it is moving, shifting up and down. So that, because it's positive, is going to shift up. So shifts V up 6 units because the 6 is on the outside of absolute value. Simple. That's a long explanation, but you have to make sure you're explaining the whole thing so that it makes sense to anybody who reads it why the shifting is happening the way it is. Okay, so you're going to do, oh, the only thing I did not answer is where is the vertex? Okay, so then since you shifted right 1 and up 6, the vertex is going to be 1, 6. So make sure you write that. Okay, you're going to do B, C, and D with thorough explanations there. So go ahead and do that as a group, and then, or on your own, check with your group, check with the substitute, and then pause it. Pause it right now. Okay, the last question on this worksheet is number 8. Graph the following equations. Each one is slightly different than those that we've already done. So now we're really predicting to see who can think outside the box. Describe what change is causing the change in the graph. So this time, y equals absolute value of 2x, and the other one has a negative in front, and the other one has a 1/2. So it says graph them and then describe the change and describe why it's happening. So you can use Desmos here and then explain why it's happening, okay? And I want good explanations there. So then once you guys have agreed on these explanations and they're thorough and your whole group has these, then the substitute can give you the worksheet. The worksheet is front side only, no back, so that's exciting news. And your sketching graph, making sure the vertex is labeled on these. How can you find the vertex from the equation without graphing? That's number 2. That is where I expect good explanations, okay? And then number 3, you're writing your own equation. So it's not a very long worksheet, but make sure you do a good job on it, okay? So that when I come back, I can be really excited about it. So that's all. If you guys have any questions, of course, you can ask Mr. Shoemaker. I'm sure he is way far behind where we are, and we are so far ahead of him, and our knowledge is way past where he is. So, but you know, if you want to, Madeline, you can go ask him, or Emily, feel free to. And hopefully I'll see you guys on Thursday. You can also email me with any questions if you want. So, thanks for watching.